Hello.
Hey, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because I just plugged in my microphone because it didn't work.
Heh.
Okay,
So,
so
I,
let's start with a little history lesson because although KATLA is a relatively young band, it is already starting to make some noise in the stoner slash doom metal fields of ours. So how did this band come to be born?
um, well, I think the romantic version is the concept of the band was thought of on a hillside at the metal festival called Copenhagen here in Denmark. It was three guys, the previous bassist, Mark, the guitarist, and Rasmus, the drummer, who decided they wanted to make a doom band. And basically, that's the rest is history. I think it was back in 2017 that they formed the alliance, and then fairly quickly they got some good gigs, and then afterwards COVID hit, and that sort of put a stop on everything. Um, but they did their fair share of playing sit down concerts and whatnot, all the alternatives there was to not playing shows back in COVID days. And in 2022, David, the bassist, decided to leave the band and enter me. Um, yeah, that's the version. That's the history of KATLA summed up.
So how did you meet? Did you know each other from before?
Um, we knew of each other, but previous or just up to David leaving the band, I was asked to play some stand-in shows because he was becoming his girlfriend was pregnant, and so I had to do some stand-in gigs when he wasn't able to. So that got me a chance to really get to know Mark and Rasmus beforehand. And then once David decided to call it quits on the band, it was fairly easy to just say, yes, I'm in. I like what you do.
And interestingly, there was another band in Copenhagen called KATLA, and they were also playing stoner doom metal. Did your
Yeah.
paths cross, perhaps?
I don't know. If you're thinking the Danish band, they're now called Gaia.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't think there was any beef with the band. There's also a Swedish Katla and a Icelandic Katla. Um, and because we've had the misfortune of being having the Icelandic Katla tagged whenever we posted something or something was posted with us, I think they don't like us. And also, I think they don't like the fact that we're using the name of an Icelandic volcano. But we took the name from the children's book, Brothers Lionheart, the dragon from that book is the name, is where we got the Katla from, not the volcano.
So we're gonna have a first KATLA full-length album on the market. So
Yeah,
why did you have to wait so long after the EP series? Because you can only make a good first impression once. That's why you have
yeah.
to wait so long.
I there were some speculation going into waiting with the full length until the right time. And if you look at it really, you know, not black and white, but if you look at it, the warmongering Luciferians part one and two could have been a record as well, um, but concept wise, it wouldn't work. So that's why it ended up being EPs. I just think once I got on board and we started writing music, it became quite clear that we were gonna make an album. We actually, after I joined, we wanted to just make new music and show people that hey, KATLA is still alive. You know, it doesn't nothing is gonna die because the old bassist left. So we the first thing we started writing was Taurus, the first single of the Scandinavian Pain. Um, and we actually thought we would release it just on our own as a live sign from the band. And we recorded it, had it mixed and mastered, and we did the video. And right when we finished the video, we started talking to Napalm Records, and they're like, "This is good. This needs to be on the record." So we had to rethink that strategy and then go with a full length. So that also prolonged the whole process of writing the album.
How did this cooperation with Napalm Records begin? Because it's like this metal heavyweight label.
Yeah. It started after I joined. We talked about like what do we want to do in the band? How should we move forward? And the one thing we all agreed on was we want to play shows. And so we contacted Thorsten Ham, who is working at Napalm Events. He used to have the rodeo star booking. So we reached out to him and asked if he would be interested in working with us. And fortunately, he wanted to work with us. And when we started talking about, hey, you know, we're making new music and we are doing so and so, he was very interested in you know helping us push the music to various people. And then during the summer of 2023, he came to Denmark to see the first time see us play a real live show for the first time. And during that show, he took like a 10-minute clip on his cellular phone to and send it to Sebastian from Napalm Records. And Sebastian was like, "I like that. I want to get in on that." So that's and then we started talking, and that led to the album, the contract being made. So
And you recorded this debut material under the guidance of Lasse Ballad. How was the work in the studio without any problems?
yeah, well, it was a bit cold, but that's about it. But no, Lasse, we've been working with Lasse a lot during live shows. Lasse is a great live technician as well, and we've done several shows, and we quickly just agreed upon Lasse being the guy to go to get a sort of messed up sound. And we never really sat down and said, Lasse, we want to make this record, so you have to make a sound like this. We just came in with the songs, and he was like, let's make some thunder. And that so basically it was fairly pain-free. Um, there were some of the songs where he didn't quite follow the vision. For example, Hunap Ku. He was like, "What? You want to have a storytelling thing on this record?" And just to be fair to Lasse, we didn't have like a pre-production version of it with the vocals on or the speech on it. So it was just like a 9-minute loop of the same guitar riff, and he was like, "Guys, don't do this." So and then we recorded the guitar and everything, and finally, after we basically finished recording the whole album, we brought in Dale Smith, who's doing the narrating on that track. And once he heard Dale just start reading the story, Lasse was like, "Yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah, makes sense." So that, but all in all, fairly pain-free. Lasse was caught on to the vision from the beginning, like, and we didn't have to do any corrections or anything, or very few revisions. So very good and fruitful cooperation with Lasse.
So why did you choose Dale Smith for the Hunapku?
Um, Two reasons. He lives on a boat next to the drummer Rasmus, so they're neighbors. And the second reason, he's just an outstanding, incredible guy with a rich past of, he moved from America to Denmark in the 70s and has been a part of, the Danish punk scene, and he's a jazz musician. He's played with Jimi Hendrix. Like he can tell you stories for days. And quite early in the process, Rasmus was just like, dude, it needs to be Dale. And I agree. Now it can only be Dale, but it's a perfect match with that sort of hoarse voice that he has. So yeah, that was Rasmus who came up with that part.
And what's the story behind this song? Because it's a fascinating track in general, because it's like a soundtrack for this whole story. So who came up with this whole idea?
That was again Rasmus the drummer. He basically wrote the draft for this song, the story behind it, 10 years ago or something. And I think it's based on the Hunab Ku being the reference to there can be only one God. And then I can't remember when he introduced the idea about it for the album, but um, yeah, it was Rasmus. He
And
also wrote the story.
and in the promo version, the title of the song was Hunap, but in the streaming services, it's Hunap Ku. I know it's the same name for the same deity, but which title is on the back cover of the CD? Hunap Ku or Hunap?
Oh, it's supposed to be Hunab Ku. There was some metadata, and actually we wanted to have it Hunab Ku, the short version, because the first recording that Dale did, it was like a 12-minute song. But we had to edit that down to get it on one vinyl instead of having, you know, two vinyls and one side being empty.
And the mastering for the album was handled by the extremely experienced Alan Duchel. So was this your choice? All the labels?
That was our choice. I'm a big fan of the some of the bands that Alan has worked with. Converge, just to mention, one. And in during the period of recording the album, I was we actually had another one in mind, but during the recording of the album, I was listening like a lot to Converge, and was really like, God damn it, this is really good. And so we talked about it, and the other guys were like, dude, go if you feel like it, let's go with it. We approached Alan and asked him, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm down. And again, being the craftsman that he is, he just got the gist of the record in the first take, So we didn't have to do a lot of revisions. Just he nailed it, making just opening the tracks up, and yeah. So working with Laz and working with Alan has just been the perfect match for this record.
And the cover of Scandinavian Pain come from the hand of Rasmus. So why exactly such artwork and this black dog? It reminds me in the style of old posters for the classic horror movies, like from Boris Karloff era.
Yeah, and I think he took the picture from an old Sherlock Holmes episode, The Hound of Baskerville, and it basically, we wanted to create something that had some reference to the concept or the lyrics of the record, but we also wanted to have a cover that when browsing through records and you were like, and you, oh, something that would catch your eye and make you want to listen to it. And I think Rasmus did a very, very fine job doing that. There's a lot of when you have the physical copy of it, there's a lot of Easter eggs, and he's put some very, very nice details into it. So and I think it works out well. When we send the artwork to Napalm, they're like, yeah, this is like the old 90s black metal records. So that's nice. No, no, like they didn't have any comments or any, oh, you have to redo this. They bought the vision.
And the intro in the form of Don't Let the Fuckers Get You Down is read by Cassandra Meze. So could you tell us who is she and how did she end up on the album?
Yeah, the intro, again, this is an idea that was sparked by Rasmus, and then we talked about it, and we just thought it would be funny to have this sort of metal version of an affirmation speech. And just there's so many metal records where there's a lot of hate and animosity and you fuck this and fuck that. So we thought it would be very almost anti-metal to have this you're worthy and you belong and uh, open the record. So Rasmus has a good friend from Australia who now lives in France, and it's actually his, I don't know if his wife or girlfriend, um, Kaz. And so Rasmus just approached Jack and hey, I have this affirmation speech. Could you guys record it? And she nailed it. It sounds like something from a yoga soundtrack. So that's it's a good friend of Rasmus, who Cassandra. That's why she ended up on the record.
I laughed when I heard embrace life, embrace love, and Satan. It's an
Yeah.
important message.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And
that's cool.
in the first single, Taurus Olelak or Avsky makes an guest appearance. So how in turn was this collaboration born?
Ole is a good friend of the band, and we share the rehearsal space. And when we did, like I mentioned in the beginning, we actually thought Taurus could be this standalone release we would do on our own. So we just thought it would make, um, or not, we didn't thought, when we wrote the song and we introduced the black metal part of it, as it's something completely new to the KATLA sound. We were like, Rasmus was, and me and Mark were talking about, like, we need to have Ole on this. This screams for that kind of a feature. And fortunately, he was down. So and he was down to be in the video as well. So that just made like perfect sense, and fortunate that we could make it happen. And we just performed the song live with him this Saturday, playing a show in Denmark.
And there was a little drama with Avsky last year. So what do you think about this whole situation with the anti-fascist black metal gathering?
Oh, yeah, I've heard. I'm not sure because yeah, Rasmus would be better to talk about that. I know Ole. Ole is a nice guy. There's like I don't get it why there's all this hate. Uh, it's sometimes this thing spirals sort of out of control. But yeah, I don't get it. And I honestly I haven't dove into it to be quite honest. So
I was trying to delve into it, but still I don't understand what was this fuss about. It was
no,
just
exactly, and
yeah.
that's sort of where I ended up as well. And just from knowing Ole, it's hard to not be somewhat subjective to it. He's a nice guy. He promotes a lot of the same values, positive values, in my opinion. But yeah, it's politics, and sometimes that bites you in the ass. And I'm probably gonna get some trouble for saying that. Yeah.
Mhm. And what is it about Kevin Sharp? Because this almost punk mini song reminds me of Napalm Death in the whole style.
Yeah. Um, well, it's the track Eating Grapes with Kevin Sharp. It's again, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it's an idea that Rasmus, the drummer, came up with. And it's actually taken the lyrics for the song is based on a true story. We went on tour with the American band Brujeria back in 23. And the tour manager for that tour was Kevin Sharp from Brutal Truth. And because whenever we play shows or go on tour, we always hang out in merch booth. And so that tour, we got to hang out a lot with Kevin Sharp. And one day in Düsseldorf, we were playing a matinee show because apparently it was a Sunday show and you can't play after a certain time because you can't make noise when it's late. So we played an early show, and there was like a heat wave and thunder happening that same day, and we were just hanging out eating grapes with Kevin Sharp. And the funny thing about the song, how it came up, that was Rasmus sent me like I got like a message on Messenger. It's like, "Hey guy, dude, I have a song," and then he sent me like a voice recording of him going, and then sang the lyrics, and that was it. And it's like, do you want to make this kind of grind song? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's okay. Let's do it. So we joked a lot about like should we play it live because it's in total I think it's 9 seconds long with the intro.
And the album was promoted by two music videos for The Lover and Taurus. Right now we have
Yeah,
also a lyric video, but both music videos are quite humorous. So what did you want to say with them? That sometimes metal community or metal musicians need to take the stick out of their asses and just have
yeah,
fun?
yeah, totally. And also because that's sort of who we are. The first video was something that Rasmus wrote and like an idea he wanted to create, having this sort of Red Fangisk music video, having this odd universe that we created for a song that's heavy and about death and stuff, and then have this funny counterpart. And we brought in a good friend called Louis Gretlund, and he was just on board and thought the idea was fun and just rolled with it. And he was actually the one that got the scooters introduced and hooked us up with a guy in the central part of Denmark. And he was like, "Yeah, if you come over, you can have them for free." So we drove that, like spent one day driving to the west in Denmark, and then drove around in scooters all day, filming it for a heavy metal video. So that was good fun making it. But yeah, we wanted to make something that wasn't too uptight and brought some humor into the whole thing.
And you were supposed to celebrate the release of the album on the tour, but unfortunately, this one was cancelled. So was it quite a shock because 1914 band some time ago finally started to tour outside their country. Last year they
Yeah,
had a tour.
yeah.
Before that, I was going to see them twice, and the tour was cancelled because they weren't let go from the Ukraine. So what happened? What happened that last year they toured normally and now they couldn't leave their own country?
Yeah, well, up until like, yeah, so that's correct. We were supposed to go on tour. We actually had another tour planned last year that got canceled due to them not being able to leave. Then this tour was set up, and we actually asked our booker, "What about cancellation? Will this happen? What like will it happen again?" And they were like, "No, no, no. This won't happen again because so and so, and they got their visas and everything." Uh, and uh, so yeah, and they played two shows in January. 2 seconds. So they played two shows in January, and everything was fine. And then we got a call. We drove to Warsaw the day before. We wanted to, we didn't want to do a 10-hour drive and then play a show. So we left on the 26th, and just 1 hour before hitting the venue in Warsaw, we got a call from Dimitro of 1914, and he was just, devastated and crying his eyes out and like, guys, this is not. We just, we're told that this is not going to happen. They were not allowed to leave. Um, and we were like, what? First the shock of the tour being canceled, then the hearing that the whole situation about in Ukraine was escalating. That was also like very, very, very huge shock to hear. We try to, so we were like driving towards the venue. We hear that 1914 isn't coming, trying to get a hold of our booker, but he was attending a conference. Um, and when we got a hold of him, we basically were parking outside of the venue, and he was like, "Yeah, guys, you need to go home." And we're like, "What? We're here now. Can we play this show?" I was like, "Nope, everything is off. Everything's canceled." So yeah, thank you, Trump, for not making this happen.
And I've read in one of the interview that members of KATLA also like the Polish band Dope Lords. So what attracts you the most in their music?
Um, well, I think that was Rasmus, but it's heavy, it's doomy, it's gritty, all the things that's good about doom music. Yeah, we did an interview today with a Danish media, and we talked about Behemoth because they have the new record coming out. That's a good band as well. Fucking
And
awesome band.
I saw Dope Lord at Mystic Festival where they played so hard that the sound system went down. And you guys will be part of the Danish invasion this year, along with, for
Yeah.
example, Plague Maze. So what will be able to expect? Will the walls come crumbling down? Will the venue survive?
Hopefully, we will just burn everything to the ground. Man, it's we're honestly super psyched about this. Going first of all, going to an awesome festival like Mystic. I haven't been there before, but it looks freaking awesome. The setting is cool, the venue, the bands and everything just looks fucking awesome. And then to be able to go with bands like Cabal, Plague Mace, John Connor, Embla, and then ourselves, it's gonna be freaking awesome. And I'm really I hope to see a lot of like a big turnout because I know that all the bands are really psyched for this. So yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
I'm planning to attend the festival, so maybe we'll meet in person
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah, for sure,
somewhere
man.
around there. Okay, so this is all that I have prepared. So thank you for your time, and I will ask for a few words to Polish stoner doom metal fans.
Oh, for me,
Yeah,
well, I hope check out the record. If you're in the area of Mystic Festival, come check us out. Come have a beer. And then spread some love in Satan.
that's great. So again, thank you for your time, and we'll see you
Thank
in
you, man.
Gdańsk at Mystic Festival.
Hopefully.
Bye.
Bye bye.